Welcome back. We got a little sub work. How about that? All right, Fever 1793. Here's that learning target. Please follow along slide for slide with me. Your substitute, whoever she or he may be. Just a reminder that when the whistling is going, pause the video so that students can catch up with whatever's going on the slide. All right, so here's the learning target class. I will be able to sharpen my understanding of setting, where and when the story is taking place, and conflict, the problems inside the characters and outside the characters by synthesizing definitions, examples, Fever 1793, and analyses of the novel. Slide 2, please. What is synthesizing? Turn on your highlighter for me, please. Then you turn it on yellow fella, and then get these little pieces around. And mine drags a little bit. I'm not sure why it's doing that this evening, but it's just one of those features that we're all going to endure while this video goes. So I put some dots on some of the outside of the light bulb there, but when you synthesize something, you take all those different puzzle pieces and you put them together and you have a whole. What is your synthesis going to be of the settings and the conflicts of the novel 1793 and the time period it comes from? Here's some artwork created by DALL-E. It's an AI generator using a newspaper style and an ink style common to the period and common to colonial newspapers, right? Oh, sorry, just rescuing my dog from some weird thing they're trying to eat, and it was a piece of plastic. I'm gonna do better. All right, so I'm gonna put a little dot on those three things, and when you take all those things together, you might say, oh, I notice that when I think of the book that these death carts are a little morose. They must have been scary to see in these inked drawings. To come into the paper every day. So there was a culture of fear in the media, might be your synthesis of those three pictures. All right, take a moment to make your slide 2 look just like Mr. Serfass's, or as best you can approximate. Excellent work. Slide 3, a reminder that if you aren't prepared today and don't have your computer, no worries. There's a pile of work for you over by the orange closet. It should be noted that there's side 1s and side 2s that you can complete, and that there are 3 varieties. So if you notice that you're doing a variety that you've already done because you've been consistently without a computer, that is fine, but you need to make sure that you go through the pile, or preferably the sub goes through the pile and gives you what you need. All right, slide 4. Based on this Google search, now this slide looks a little bit different than the others. I'm not sure why it didn't load up this way yet, but let's look at this question first. All right, this is slide 6, but we're going to use it for slide 3 in a moment. Based on this Google search, what kinds of people, ideas, and images are most striking from the epidemic of 1793? Rank the top 3 most interesting pictures and drag the exclamation point to the most relevant to this month's class discussion. Well, our most relevant class discussion this week has been about society and how society and times of crisis go together. Okay, so most important to me is I see somebody helping here, but still looking forlorn. That sticks out to me. Another thing I'm noticing here is the yellow jack, which is looks to me to be a skeleton. And then number 3, I see a map of Philadelphia and different areas that suffered more greatly. Notice how it's a lot more red down by the river where the mosquitoes would be. So for me, the most relevant to our class discussion would be this big crowd. I mean, that just looks like a definition of society right there. All right, founding fathers and all in the streets of Philadelphia. All right, so maybe you agree with me and you want to put your 1s and your 2s and your 3s in the same spot. Or what I would prefer is that you do your own thinking. Maybe the first thing you noticed was this ugly mosquito down here. Maybe you noticed this sort of like judge outfit that this gentleman is in. Maybe the first thing you noticed was the blood all over this dude's shirt. And maybe the thing that represents our class discussion or society most seems to be this lonely person, right? One person without any society to take care of him. It's up To you, the only thing that is unacceptable is not moving the 1, not moving the 2, not moving the 3, and not moving the exclamation point. So what you need to do right now is move the 1, the 2, and move the 3 and exclamation point around the screen to coincide with the directions at the top. Please take the time to do that on your computer right now. Excellent work. Slide 5. So choose one of the following draggables to examine the connotation for the word grip. Grip, it's a noun. As Lady Penelope hosted her lavish soiree, a sudden chill swept through the ballroom, leaving guests whispering about the grip that had befallen the neighboring estate. And notice here that there's a emoji with a mask on. Despite their worries, the matron maintained her composure, ensuring her guests were attended to with utmost care. Lady Penelope, with her sharp wit, knew the importance of taking precautions to prevent the spread of illness among her esteemed circle. Well, I'm going to mark the word grip then, because it looks like they're trying to avoid it. I'm going to mark it as negative, and I'm going to use this orange thing to do it. I'm going to put it right here, because that seems as negative as it can get. All right, let me just make sure my dog is not eating something strange, but is eating something appropriate. What's that? Oh, that's your toy. Good dog. Yes, Luna. All right, Luna's going to get a treat real quick. Class, hang in there. She's a puppy, so I just want to make sure that I clock every time she does the right thing. She knows she's doing the right thing. Get some, Luna. All right. So that's one of those definitions we're going to use as part of our synthesis to examine conflict and setting in this book. All right. Please take a moment to move your orange line now. Excellent. Slide 6. Based on this Google search, what kinds of people, ideas, and images are most striking for the epidemic of 1793? Rank the top 3 most interesting pictures and drag the exclamation point to the most relevant to this month's class discussion. Well, the most relevant to me, I see one that's already a repeat, a rerun, so I'm getting this one. That seems to be the most famous. Number 2, I like these big estates here in Philadelphia. And number 3, got to go with these big old cemeteries where some of the bodies of the gentry were buried. All right, Luna, get down, please. Come on. Good dog, good girl. All right. I'm also going to put this exclamation next to the tongue. And it seems to be so disgusting to me that I just can't, I got to drag an exclamation point to it. Now, let's just say, for instance, you disagree with me. Maybe your number 1 is here. Maybe your number 2 is here. Maybe your number 3 is this middle guy with the yellow face. And maybe the most relevant to class discussion for you would have been this discussion of society. In this instance, high society. All right? Down, Miss Luna. Good girl. Take a moment, please, and finish slide 6. It should not look precisely like mine. It should involve your own thinking and deliberation. Please do so now. Excellent work. Slide 7. Choose one of the following draggables to examine the connotation for the word plague. As Lady Penelope's carriage rattled through the cobblestone streets, fear hung heavy in the air. To whispers of the plague sweeping through the city and had reached even the highest echelons of society. Despite the looming threat, Lady Penelope remained resolute, directing her household staff to take every precaution to safeguard her family and estate. With a stoic resolve, Lady Penelope faced the uncertain times, knowing that strength and unity would see them through the darkest of days. So that word plague, especially based on where it is, and move that green parentheses, please, to that word plague. There it is, right on the P, I'm going to put it. Now, where do you think this orange dot should go? Is plague a happy word, a somewhat happy word, a neutral word, neither happy nor sad, a sad word, or a terrible word? I'd like you to take the time to choose where you're going to put this orange line now. Excellent work. Slide 8. Based on this Google search, what kinds of people, ideas, and images are most striking from the epidemic of 1793? Rank the three most interesting pictures and drag the exclamation points the most relevant to this month's class discussion. Most interesting to me, where am I going to find number one? Is this sort of like um, Dante-esque, heck-related picture here? It just looks like the inside of the bowels of the earth. All right. Number two, gotta say, repping Philly. I want to put a mural right there. And number three, gotta go with my Philadelphia right over here too. Just looking beautiful in that picture. The one most relevant to class discussion to me seems to be this giant group of people moving from one spot to the next. So that seems to me to be about society, but maybe you think this is your most interesting one, and this is the second most interesting one down here, this yellow fever shack, and maybe the water where all the mosquitoes were. All right. Is and the most relevant to class discussion for you, it might be this picture from a documentary about the fever of 1793. It's up to you. But take the time now to organize 1, 2, and 3 rankings and to find the most relevant to class discussion now. Please go ahead. Excellent work. Slide 9. Choose one of the following draggables to examine the connotation for the word society. Amidst the opulent halls of the elite, Lady Penelope reigned as a pillar of 18th century society, her grace and charm captivating all who crossed her path. Adorned in the finest silks and jewels, she moved effortlessly through the intricate social web, her every gesture a testament to her refinement and sophistication. Yet beneath the veneer of glamour lay a world of intrigue and politics, where alliances were forged and reputations made or shattered with but a whispered word. Ooh, what a fun little phrase. I'm going to put my green parentheses by the word society. All right. The word society looks to me like it's 18th century society specifically. So does society seem to be good or bad or neutral? Is it a fully happy word, a somewhat happy word, a neutral word, a negative, somewhat negative word, or a very negative word? Where does it seem to be, in your opinion, based on this little passage over here? Please take the time to organize your connotation meter now. Nice work. Slide 10. Let's examine some custom art that matches society, plague, and fever. List 3 things you notice about this painting. So I notice, and then I'm going to put number 1, number 2, and number 3. All right. What are 3 things that you notice? Well, I will give you or help you with one. I notice that in the center is a nun in her habit, right? That sort of outfit she's wearing there. I leave 2 things for you to notice. You can certainly take mine or go with your own, but take the time to please notice 3 things about this picture from the year 1793 in Philadelphia. Do so now, please. Oh, I didn't even know you could do 2 responses. Oh, my goodness. Wow. And go back here. Oh, my goodness. Add another response. Oh, my goodness. I love it. Excellent. Slide 11. Here we have society again, because it's that important of a term for this book, for this history, for this setting, and all the conflicts in it. So we're going to look at 2 definitions of society with a larger emphasis on the first one. Okay? So society is a noun, the aggregate of people living together in more or less an ordered community. Drugs, crime, and other dangers to society. Similar, the community, the public, the general public, the people, the population, civilization, the world at large, humankind, mankind, and humanity. Now, the second one, society in this case, is an organization or club formed for a particular purpose or activity, as in the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. For me and for the book, I believe that we should be better off focusing just on number one. So please take a moment and find a word that seems similar to the word society in the list of similar words and phrases. Please take a moment to do so now. Me, I'm going to put the community. Based on these words altogether, does it seem like society is overall positive, neutral, somewhat negative, or very negative? Take the time to move your orange line on your connotation meter now. Excellent. Provide the who and the what for the paragraph. So that must be the main idea. This text is mostly about parentheses who and what. Let's take the time to read this now, and then you can finish that sentence starter there on the right. In the first two chapters of Fever of 1793, we meet the main characters who will navigate the challenges of a deadly epidemic. Matilda Cook is a young girl who lives with her mother and grandfather in Philadelphia during a time of great change. Her mother, a hardworking and protective woman, strives to provide for their family while teaching Matilda important life lessons. Matilda's friendship with Eliza, a free African American woman, reveals the stark realities of racial inequality in their society. Additionally, the mention of Polly, who will soon succumb to the fever, foreshadows the looming danger that will threaten the characters' lives. As the story unfolds, these characters will face hardship, loss, and ultimately resilience in the face of adversity. Please take the time to finish that main idea sentence now. Slide 13. Let's try it again. So the sentence starter once again will be, this text is mostly about who and what. In the first two chapters of Fever of 1793, we're introduced to the main characters navigating life in Philadelphia amidst a changing society. Matilda Cook, her mother, and her grandfather form a close-knit family, with Matilda's mother striving to provide for them with imparting crucial life lessons. Matilda's friendship with Eliza, a free African-American woman, sheds light on the societal inequalities of the time. Additionally, the looming grip epidemic casts a shadow over their hearth, with the mention of Polly, soon to be a victim of the disease, serving as a chilling reminder of the danger lurking. Through these characters, the novel delves into themes of resilience, community, and the scurrilous nature of disease in an unforgiving era. Who is that paragraph mostly about, and what about them? Please take the time to type your text response here on the right. Who and what is that paragraph mostly about? Slide 14. Based on this Google search, what kinds of people, ideas, and images are most striking for the epidemic of 1793? Rank the top three most interesting pictures and drag the exclamation to the most relevant to this month's class discussion. So, which is the number one picture? I like this one. Which is your number two picture? Ooh, I like this one. And which is your number three? Gotta go with this one here. All right, the one that seems most relevant to class discussion to me is I gotta go with two. There might be a little overlap here. Now, maybe you disagree. Maybe you think the most interesting one is this one, and the second most interesting one is that one, and the third most interesting one is this one, and the most relevant one is this one. It's up to you. Please take the time to complete this slide now. Slide 15. Based on this Google search, what kinds of people, ideas, and images are most striking for the epidemic of 1793? Rank the top three most interesting pictures and drag the exclamation point to the most relevant to this month's class discussion. Take the time to drag your 1, 2, 3, and exclamation point now. Excellent work. Slide 16. Based on this Google search, what kinds of people, ideas, and images are most striking from the epidemic of 1793? Rank the three most interesting pictures and drag the exclamation point to the most relevant to this month's class discussion. Take the time to drag your 1, 2, 3, and exclamation point now. Excellent work. Slide 17. Based on this Google search, what kinds of people, ideas, and images are most striking for the epidemic of 1793? Rank the top three most interesting pictures and drag the exclamation point to the most relevant to this month's class discussion. Please take the time to move your 1, 2, 3, and exclamation point now. Excellent. Slide 18. Based on this Google search, what kinds of people, ideas, and images are most striking from the epidemic of 1793? Rank the top three most interesting pictures and drag the exclamation point to the most relevant to this month's class discussion. Please take the time to move your 1, 2, 3, and exclamation point now. Slide 19. Based on this Google search, what kinds of people, ideas, and images are most striking from the epidemic of 1793? Rank the top three most interesting pictures and drag the exclamation point to the most relevant to this month's class discussion. Please do so now. For these two paragraphs, you're going to provide the who and what. Who is these paragraphs mostly about, and what are these paragraphs mostly about? Let's take the time to do so now. In fever 1793, the mosquito was a big deal. It's not just a pesky bug in the story, it's also the cause of a deadly disease called yellow fever. Laurie Halsey Anderson shows us how scary mosquitoes can be, both in the book and in real life. As Matilda and her community face the outbreak, the mosquito becomes like a sneaky villain, spreading fear and danger everywhere. This reminds us of how mosquitoes spread the real yellow fever back in 1793, causing a lot of suffering in Philadelphia. But mosquitoes aren't just scary bugs, they also teach us important lessons. They show us how fragile life can be and how diseases don't care who you are. Whether you're rich or poor, anyone can get sick from a mosquito bite. And through the story, we learn that we're all connected and we need to work together to fight against diseases like yellow fever. So while mosquitoes might seem small, they have big impact, reminding us to stay alert and help each other out during tough times. This text is mostly about who and what. In this case, the who might be an animal, and the what is what about that animal. Please take the time to complete this sentence starter for slide 20. Please do so now. Slide 21 is just a reminder for those of you who are less than prepared today for class to make sure that you continue to fill out sides 1 and 2 in some variety, and that includes the word search as well. I wish you best of luck. I'm sorry there's something going on with your computer or it's missing. Slide 22, let's provide our last who and what for these three paragraphs, or this one paragraph. Okay. Using familiar characters. Allegories often use, it looks to me like this is just a leftover slide. So what you can do for slide 22 is just put a bunch of X's. Hold down the X maybe for like a 20 count in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Ooh, a lot of X's there. All right. Thank you for your focus today. Go enjoy your next class. If there's any time left over, please make sure you take care of the paper work over by the orange closet. Thank you so much for your hard work.